Hi friends. So just before you get into this episode, I just wanted to come in here and say happy birthday to myself.
Happy birthday, Steffi. Feliz cumpleaños.
Oh my god, it's my birthday today. It's September 6th, the day that you're listening to this episode, hopefully. And I just wanted to come in here and celebrate myself and my 28 little years of age.
With an amazing podcast episode.
Yes. So without further ado, we have an amazing episode here for you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Bye. Hi, friends. Welcome to Take 3 Talks. I'm your host, Steffi, and I'm here with my co-host, Mei Jun.
Hi, friends.
We're here in our little cabin in the woods with the fire. Maybe you can hear in the background if we're really quiet. Today we have one of your favorites, and let's just say and admit this is one of my favorites. We have a podcast lesson in our hands. So welcome to Podcast Lesson. So for the people who haven't been here before, what is a podcast lesson? Podcast lesson is a very meta Steffi style episode where we and all of you guys listen to an episode and then we come here and discuss it. So here we have Major and me doing our podcast lesson because we've listened to a podcast that we absolutely love and that we learned so much from. And we wanted to share with all of you guys because we already shared it with our Take 3 Uni members, and they did this as homework for August, and we did it as well with them. And we just thought that everybody should know about this podcast episode and everybody should do the homework. So today we're going to be discussing one of our favorites. I know so many favorites. How many times can I say favorite in an episode, in an intro?
Let's keep check.
I know. Jay Shetty with his podcast On Purpose. So his podcasts are really good. They're very like solution driven and like action driven. So I suggest you give it a listen, but grab a notebook and a pencil so that you can really take notes and do the prompts like as he says them in the podcast.
It's really fun and interactive.
Yeah.
I have so much notes.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
I'm so excited. So we'll just get started. The episode that we're going to be discussing today is 6 strategic steps to discover your passion and transform it into an income. The first time that I saw this headline, I was really kind of put off by it, but I was like, okay, let's try it. Because I thought it was going to be this like quick clickbaity type of thing. But I'm happy to confess that it was a really like self-reflection type of exercise more than like make 6 figures and be a millionaire.
No, it was very grounding. And it kind of brought us back to reality and go back to the core, which is ourselves, and really look within to discover what this purpose that he's talking about is.
Yeah.
It was really interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really cool. So we listened to the episode and now we're recording the discussion after listening to the episode and done the activities. So we recommend you either listen to this podcast, because you're already here and maybe you're not sure if this episode's going to be kind of for you. So listen kind of to our takeaways and maybe we'll inspire you to listen to the OG episode. But you could listen to the OG episode, do the task, and then listen to this episode, and you'll kind of feel like a discussion together. So however you decide to listen to this, thank you for being here, and welcome to Podcast Lessons.
Yeah.
So why don't you take it away and start sharing some of your notes, and I'll kind of chime in with some of my notes.
Sounds good. No, yeah. Thank you for handing over the mic to me. I think the first fun fact, actually, a little bit off tangent, that I want to start off with is that Jay Shetty worked at Accenture.
Oh my God, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Accenture is a giant, one of the biggest in the world, a consulting firm. And they have many verticals. And the vertical that I worked for was Accenture Digital. So they bought the company that I worked for, so we became Accenture Digital. So technically, Jay and I worked for the same company.
Shut up! He's like fanboying.
I'm like fanboying.
I wish I
right
could
now.
see him. He's like red.
Yeah.
He's
I think it's the
blushing.
fire that's making me like red. But yeah, that was a quick fun fact.
I love that. Yeah, when I heard it, I was like,
I know. Oh my God, Accenture. So that was fun. So I think that I want to start today's like discussion, the way he did. That was really, really, really nice. He said, "Okay, guys, repeat after me. I am exactly where I am meant to be." And
I am exactly where I am meant to be.
let's say that one more time.
I am exactly where I am meant to be. But
Yeah.
close your eyes. I am exactly where I'm meant to be.
That just opened up the whole like conversation for me.
Yeah.
To really make us think that, hey, like, it's okay wherever you're at right now, where we're supposed to be. So I think that was really
Yeah.
nice. And I think that the next point that I want to talk about is actually like when he mentioned that regarding your potential, there are two lies that people have probably told you. One, you're nothing, you're never gonna make it. The second lie is that you can do anything. You can be anyone. Guillermo's barking. Guillermo really likes that one. But what's really like amazing about that is that he said that that's what's stopping us from doing something.
So let's repeat those two.
Yeah.
So he says that we're told two lies, right?
Yeah.
So the two lies are, and it's funny because I have them
You have
written
the same
right
notes,
here,
huh?
like right
Yeah.
here in the top. It says lies.
Uh-huh.
You're nothing. You're worthless. You're never going to make it. You can be anything. You can do anything.
Uh-huh.
All those are lies that we've been told by
Exactly.
society.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy here is like, you are nothing. How many times do you think a month you have these type of thought?
Yeah. Either from someone or just
Yeah.
your own thoughts.
You are worthless. How many times when you fuck up something or something falls or something burns or you say something like you are worthless?
Yeah.
How many times you say you're never going to make it? How many times when we're about to launch something, when we're going into something that scares us, when we're going into something creative and a little bit out of our comfort zone, especially as entrepreneurs, how many times do we say you are never going to make it?
Yeah.
But like literally. And then the other lies, which really struck me,
Complete opposite.
was you can be anything.
You can do anything.
You can do anything.
Yeah, and he says like, as great as that sound and as positive as it is, it's not necessarily realistic. You can't as a human being, you can't do everything. You can't do anything. You got to find what that thing is for you. And that's why we're here talking today. To sum this part up, what he said was really beautiful. He said, quote, "Thinking you can do nothing or thinking you can do anything is what stops us from doing something." I think
powerful.
that like hit me hard. I think this is like a thing that I struggle with like on a weekly basis, like the finding the right balance, and sometimes just telling yourself like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just see what happens, right? And I think that's something that we're kind of overcoming ourselves personally and within, our relationship and within Take 3 Studio.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
That was so powerful.
So beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Thinking you can do nothing or thinking you can do anything is what stops us from doing something.
Yeah. And that's something
That's a great
is so
takeaway.
key.
Make notes. Write that down, guys. I'm going to have that
I
printed
should
on
write
the
that
wall.
down. I'm going to write that down right here.
Yeah.
Where's my pen?
Right,
That's great.
She's writing it down live.
Can
today's
you
episode.
repeat that, please?
Thinking you can do nothing
Thinking you can do nothing.
or thinking you can do anything
Thinking you. Yeah.
is what stops you from doing something.
Wow.
Really, really beautiful, right?
Powerful. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was really, really
Like that's how he
memorable.
started the podcast, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm sold.
I
Tell me
know.
more.
I was
Tell
like-
me more.
I was like, where do I sign up for the master class?
Literally. Okay, go ahead. I think you can
No,
jump to-
what's next in yours?
the next thing that
The way that I kind of took notes was
Yeah.
like I more like journaled from
Yeah.
some of his prompts.
uh-huh
So I have like a few like just more like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
vulnerable
yeah.
like
no, I think
secret.
I would love to hear some of those if if you want to share
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I think I have one here, but I don't know if when this comes up. I have like preparation meets opportunity.
So okay, this was I have this down as well. It was the Oprah quote.
Yes,
The
the
Oprah
luck,
quote.
the luck.
Yeah, about how she doesn't believe in luck, but um so the quote goes, "There's no such thing as luck, but if there is, it's when preparation meets opportunity."
Yeah.
I think that was really, really
Preparation
powerful
meets
as well.
opportunity. And that's so important because without being prepared for the job at hand, that opportunity will not come to you. So it's not like luck.
Yeah.
Or you won't be calling that opportunity, or you won't be going towards that opportunity.
And also, like, it doesn't matter how much you prepare if you don't take hold of that opportunity.
Yes.
So it really goes hand in hand. And
It's
I think
AB.
I think that was really powerful.
Yeah, it's like ping pong. I love that.
Absolutely. So with that said, I think something to constantly remind each other of is to surround yourself with people who believe in you, so that you are more confident in grabbing onto those opportunities and not really overthinking it.
Yeah, and having those key people in like your hand
Mm-hmm.
that you can always go to that will always tell you like the real deal.
Exactly.
Another thing that they mentioned is like being grateful. A lot of what he's talking about and what he prepared us for was kind of like you have to remember that without like gratefulness, like there's nothing in this world because you can't like you just can't live like humbly if you are not living gratefully for all the things that you have.
Absolutely.
And I love how he was like, write the 5 things that you're grateful for right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how he focused all of this like passion and the things that you want to do and everything with like gratefulness as the core.
Absolutely. I think that it's a great way to start the day, to start positively with the things you're grateful for.
Yeah, and end the day too. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. So moving on, I think I don't know if you have any more points regarding potential or pain. I think that was like one of the first topics he talked about.
Yeah. So something that I really loved was when he said like find a passion, find a pain, and like devote like work to it, like devote yourself to that pain.
To making like it not to making that pain into something like into your purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because he was like talking about how people always say like, you have to find your purpose and your mission and like the things, and it always feels so vague.
Yeah.
But you always forget that the things that pain you, the things that ache you, like the things that you really want to do in the world, like find that pain and devote yourself to it.
Right.
And like find your pain to serve. What is the suffering you don't want to see anymore? Like I have right here, like I don't want people to continue to postpone their dreams because they can't do it alone and they don't know where to start. I want to be their friend and help them as we help each other. Discussing ideas through guidance, I think you can try or change while still being very close to accomplishing and living your dream. And it's like such a
long rant.
Yeah, but like that's kind of how I took his podcast. Like he like said like, find your pain. Like what is the pain you want to serve, And that's kind of like what I really took from this, like the passion and the like all the 5 P's that he goes through in the thing. Like I think they all kind of summed up for me in find your pain, find a pain to serve and something you don't want to see happen anymore. Fucking write that on the wall. Like, when we have a wall where we have like sayings and like mantras, like
which we will have.
Yeah, which we will have. Like that is gonna be right there. Like find your pain and find like a pain to serve and a way to serve it.
I absolutely
and
agree.
Do it with gratefulness. Like
he said it like we have to like get into a mindset of being grateful for even the pain or the pressure that got you here today. So that whole entire journey. And even being grateful for the pain from the people who didn't believe in you and your potential.
Yes.
I think that was really impactful for me as well.
Yeah.
To hear, you know, knowing that growing up, you probably have been told like, oh no, you can't do that. No, this is not good enough. This is not, you know, what you're supposed to be doing. You know, you're never going to make it, and all that negativity, and kind of like, you know, being grateful for that, because that probably pushed you to where you are today, you know? So I think that, yeah, it was just like, it just gave me butterflies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's almost like take all the things. Like that's something that I shared in my stories today that was kind of like part of healing is taking also a look inside yourself and being responsible, like taking responsibility for the role you play in your suffering. So it's the same idea here. Like all the things that we think that people have said to us, all the negativity, like all of the things that you are like, oh, you know, like we're such victims of all of these things and thoughts and things that people said that made us not believe in ourselves. Like it's just like that's just suffering mentality, and like just take all that and like transform it and see it from a different note. Like I've lived through all those things. Those are tools I have in my pocket. Like those are like part of my armor, you know? It's not just like, because I feel like sometimes we wear them as shields instead of wearing them as like tools that you can use in our lives.
Absolutely. So moving on to the next topic that he kind of talked about was the idea of pride.
Yeah.
I think that he started it with, okay, say to yourself, I am proud of myself. You know, he told us to keep repeating it, and then he says, okay, stop. How many of you actually believe that, or how many of you, you know, didn't feel awkward saying that, or actually felt awkward saying that? And that's because, and this really hit me hard too, that's because as a society, or just in our upbringing, we are taught to believe that if something is not like this big, huge, massive like success, that it's not a success and that it's not worth celebrating. Yeah. You know, I think that's in a way toxic to what we're trying to overcome here, where you should celebrate all of your small journey, all of your small victories, and, you know, understanding that there's a lot that got you to that success in the first place, you know? So I think that's a good reminder.
Yeah. And I think something that I just thought about with this is, I think this is why in like corporate America, like when you launch something, you have like a launch party and stuff. You know, like how project managers used to like make up launch parties for when we like finished a campaign or like whatever. Yeah. Maybe like that's what it was for. It was to kind of like help close these cycles and celebrate this like small and big wins in the workplace, because I feel like like in both the workplace and the personal, we don't celebrate these little wins enough, but we also don't put an effort to, you know, like we don't put an effort into reflecting about, like, you know, now in the workplace we do like every week we do like what did we do last week, let's celebrate like the things that we've done, and we personally integrate personal things into it, so that makes us feel really good. But like we're one couple out of like a million, and I think if we were more mindful about incorporating like actual milestone celebrations, like I saw Blot, like Caro Sotomayor, like shout out to Somos Blot, panties menstruales reusables hechos en Ecuador. Follow her on Instagram at Somos Blot. But what she did, she like bought herself a cake and like, you know, wrote like the launch thing on it, and like I was like, I hope that, you know, she actually got to eat the cake, even if it was crying, because launching is always really stressful. But I hope she got to eat the cake and like feel like the pride and like the milestone of it. So I think it's important for us to like look at these like small wins and be like actually like proactive at celebrating ourselves and responsible.
Totally. Agree with you, everything you said there.
What's next, boss? Because I'm like really like disorganized, because I have a lot of my stuff like is like the actual tasks. Like when do we cover passion and like the personality test?
Yeah, it's coming up. I did my entire note taking chronologically. So as I listened to it, I kind of jot down things and pause and jot down things and
Yeah, I'm not like that. You're
Um,
amazing.
yeah, no, thank you.
I just write down what it prompts me to rather
Yeah.
than writing what it says.
Right.
I like journal.
I hear you.
It's so
Okay, so
different.
let's get into that. Like, the next topic was about passions,
Yeah.
and he started out with like, okay, who actually understands what passions is, right? Everyone's like, this is my passion, but what exactly is it, right? So he says to understand passion, you kind of
Oh wait. So before this, he does talk about purpose, passion, and curiosity. Is this how he opens passion?
this is where we're
Okay.
going
Yeah.
to.
Okay. I just wanted to know to
Yeah,
know in my notes where you are.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
people.
that's where we're at right now. So he said, if passion is an adult, sorry. If purpose is an adult, and if passion is a teenager, then curiosity is a womb, like a baby. So that's how he kind of compared it to, like, for us to really understand. And
Oh yeah, I have it here.
yeah, and it's all starts out with the curiosity. Like, what are you curious about? What are you interested in? What do you question yourself when someone asks you something or says something? What is that thing that you're really into?
Yeah.
And he gave it an example of sport. Like he said, it could be sports or whatever, but what about sports is you're curious about, and I really related with that because
Okay.
I'm really into sports. Sports was the first thing that came to my mind. And what I love about sports is not just that it's, sports and whatever, but it's the aspect of the mental toughness, how relatable it is for when you get nervous. I completely understand what that feels like, and overcoming that and working hard towards something, and, the non-toxic competition that comes with sports, and also the overall, like, the mindset of being an athlete. I think that's what creates that curiosity for me, to kind of find what that passion is. Yeah, so that's what my takeaway from that was.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how he talks about curiosity.
Yeah.
I feel really connected to that. I am a very curious person. My therapist always says, like, lead with curiosity rather than judgment. Whenever, we used to have issues on, like, me not being able to create safe spaces for you, she would challenge me to lead with curiosity. Maybe ask you why you thought that way instead of judging, or instead of putting it into, like, myself. She was like, lead with curiosity. So I do think that curiosity is something that keeps us human and keeps us creative and keeps us evolving. And I love curiosity.
Love that as well. And then he kind of got into that experiment of
Stevie loves
you love these
experiment.
you love these interactive podcast audio experiments, don't you? But the experiment was basically to find out what type you are. I don't know what the name of this thing is, but
disc type.
it's disc type. Okay.
Yeah.
So he asks 2 questions, and you guys can follow along right now as
Or
well.
Dix type or whatever.
What is Dix? You said Dix type.
It's DICS.
Oh, so the type
D
of dicks.
type, I type, C type, S type.
So the 2 questions, right, that he asks. Number 1, are you outgoing or are you reserved? So you're going to write that down.
50-50.
Whether you're outgoing or whether you're a reserved person. The second question is, are you more people-oriented or are you more task-oriented?
Exactly.
Right?
Either, not both of them. Like, you can't say, like, oh, like,
No.
I'm a little bit of both. Like,
No,
you have to say, like,
choose
one or the other.
You have to choose one, exactly. And then from there, when you have that, he has 4 results for you.
Yeah.
I'll go through what the 4 results are. And
You connect both your answers. From the first 2, you kind of end up with 2 words.
Exactly.
So you end up being, like, outgoing and task, or outgoing and people, or reserved and task, or reserved and people.
Exactly.
And those equivalent to a type.
Exactly. So for the outgoing task, it's called the D type.
Yeah.
And for the D type, they're more of the driver, the
The
doer, the
scheduler, the
getting
planner.
things done.
Use this energy, me dijo Jay Shetty. Use this energy, Steffi.
Yeah. So that's the outgoing, task-oriented D type.
Hi, I'm a D type.
That's a Steffi. And then the next one is the outgoing and the people, which is the I type. And I'm the I type. These are the inspirers, the influencers, the ideators, the brainstormers. So hello, and
And they're the people. And if any of y'all heard that he's the man born with the most icebreakers, then y'all know this I type is his type to a T.
outgoing people. Okay, so the third result was the reserved, task-oriented type, and this
But don't tell them yet. I guess we are assuming that they've listened to it, or they're gonna know spoilers. Okay, so let's do spoilers.
No, well they're gonna answer the questions. And
I know,
then
but
go through.
I feel like it keeps like I like when you listen to his podcast and you don't know what the answers are about. But it's fine because we're assuming that they've listened to it, so they're gonna get spoilers.
Okay, and if you want to cut this part out of the podcast, you can totally do that as well.
No, I won't.
Okay. So the reserved task, which is the C type, is calculative, cautious, quality oriented, tells you about your spelling mistakes. So like the quality assurance type, make things, make things tick, he said, so that's the reserved task.
Do we know someone like that?
I think maybe we do.
And you don't want to shit talk on the podcast.
No, we can't do that. No. Then the last one, finally, is the reserved people type. And this is the S. This is the S type.
Yeah.
And these are the emotionally intelligent, and they focus on people experience type of person. So I kind of relate to that a little bit, but overall, like,
but you're not reserved. Like, maybe when you're like,
I'm outgoing.
Maybe when you're like, not even when you're on the toilet. Because even when you're in the toilet, you're talking.
So that was the experiment, guys.
Yeah, it was great.
You guys should definitely test it out and try and see what result you get.
See.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next section? I have here, so this was when he talked about applying your pain, and then I have here practice.
Yes, that's a very great point. And regarding practice, I think the thing that he mentioned was that we forget our passions because we can't practice it.
Yeah.
I think that what you were referring to, like practicing.
Because one of the P's he said was practice, and then he said something about being open, random, and supportive. Versus being controlled, selective, and cautious. Because we go through our lives trying to be controlled, selective about the things that we want to do, and cautious when do we do them. Yeah. So, like, we should be more open to things, random about, like,
just doing random
like doing
things.
More like what is it called? Spontaneous,
yeah.
And being supportive, like leading with curiosity again. Exactly. Like that's kind of like the idea here.
Instead of shutting things down so quickly.
Yeah, and he's like, that's why it's really good to like find a coach, like find a community for you to be part of something. Like as human beings, we're like we want to be like communal. And that's something that, you need to put into practice these things. And in order to put things into practice, you need to be part of a community.
I love that. And
I think that's why and I don't know if this is when he mentioned sports as well.
I think, I think it was before. I think that.
But I love that when he mentioned about sports, it was like the communal thing. It was always like about the team thing.
Yeah. And going back to the coach a little bit, I think that his definition of a coach really resonated with me as well. He said a coach, find yourself a coach, which is someone who makes you not give up on yourself. And I think that's really powerful. Yeah. Because we're very quick to shut ourselves down from opportunities. And the purpose of the coach is to push you there and take you in the right direction and make you believe in that direction.
Yeah. Say that again.
Which part?
The little quote, like the purpose to define
a coach. A coach is someone who makes you not give up on yourself.
Someone who makes you give up on yourself. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, and
that's a mentor, an advisor, a friend, someone that can tell you like the truth and can also push you and believe in yourself constantly. It's really powerful. Yeah. It's really nice to surround yourself with those type of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he also mentioned resilience and persistence. Being passionate, being creative, being bold. And then he talks about something that he closes out because he's like, okay, like for anything, you need to have an income. You need to have a paycheck. Yeah. So he does say like, how do we turn these things into a paycheck?
How do we change our relationship with money?
Yeah.
I think that was a very great way to think about it as
Yeah.
well, because he said that a lot of us kind of see money as the root of all evil,
Or an object. Like,
or just an object.
Yeah.
But when you really change that perception of what money is, like, I love the way he describes it. He says money is energy to continue to do what you love and to invest back into your purpose.
yeah.
I love the fact that he compared it to like energy, like an energy ball, you know?
Yeah.
So every time you make money, you get more energy to do something more with that, to make
Yeah,
a bigger
he-
impact.
And what I liked is that he said, when you say things like, we don't need a lot, we just need enough to live a good life, you could be saying, like, you could be getting the money or the energy. You could be asking for more energy. You could be like putting out more energy. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I like struggle with these, these, like, you know, energy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You know, sometimes I struggle because it's not physical. So I'm like, you know, when it's coming or going, like when you're asking for energy, like, I don't know, whatever. But when you flip your switch a little bit and you think, when I get more money, I can invest in more, you know, organizations. I can support more people. I can build foundations.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can do that. And all of the things that you're passionate about can be like funded, you know, by yourself, but you're continuously working on your passion. And I just think it was so powerful to think about how you, by having more money, is you can think of that money as reinvestments of your purpose and reinvestments of your things and your passions and your curiosities, because you're always learning. Like, you always want to continue to learn and continue to invest in yourself. And the only way of doing that is by generating more money and being more open to receiving and making that money and going out there and working for it.
Yeah, not really seeing it as like a frowned upon thing if you want that, you know.
Yeah.
And I really agree with everything you just said. And it, you know, it's about how you use money, and it's to serve, you know, to serve people, to help communities, to take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you don't have a business, you don't have a brand. And then with that, you take care of other people as well. You know? So I think that just by listening to that snippet, really helped me change my mindset as well. About money.
And he said don't demonize and also don't idolize. You know, either or opposites are like dangerous. You know, it's just having a good relationship with it, knowing that you're gonna work hard. Like we say, you know, when you're, and your coach said, when you, what was it? When you work hard for something you're passionate about, like
the universe
is going to have a space for you at the table.
Exactly.
I love that. When you work hard at something you're passionate on, and the universe is always going to have a space for you at the table. I love this.
Yeah.
So yes, amen to that. And that's kind of how he ended the podcast. Energy of money to your service and growth. And I really loved this episode. I think the part that was really hard for me in terms of the homework after was asking people about what are the things that they think, when do I shine, and the
question is, one, what do you think I'm really good at? And two is, where do you think I shine? So those two questions, he tasked us with sending it to 9 people. 3 friends,
3 professionals,
3 professionals and 3 family.
Yeah.
And the responses, I got back some responses, and I
Me
think
too.
you as well.
Yeah.
We can discuss that in another episode, or
I still kind of have to discuss it with myself.
Same here. Digest it myself.
But I really loved how a lot of them, it was really hard exercise for me because I felt like I didn't want to burden others, and I was like, oh, like, will they respond? Will they find this weird? Like,
are they gonna put in the effort to give you an actual genuine response?
Not even. No. I just thought that maybe me asking them to do something was burdening. Not necessarily like even will they put in the effort. It's just like, why should I ask people? Like, they have already all doing so much. Why should I ask them to do more? You know, like, what have I done for them before? Like, why would they respond to this? But it was really nice because most people I sent the message to replied really quick, or replied like within the day. Some of them didn't, and it's fine. Looking at you, May June.
We'll send a reminder to May June. I'm still digesting
the ask.
our life just to give you a real honest response.
Yeah, but I really loved this episode overall.
Yeah.
I think it was a really fun exercise. Give yourself an hour and 15 minutes, and dive deeper into these questions and these thoughts that he puts. I took them all as prompts, and I literally have 3 pages full of like journal entries. We'll be having our show notes. We'll be putting all of our notes in there. So you can find the show notes on takethetstudio.com/blog. Or just on takethetstudio.com, you can find like the latest show notes, or on the description of this episode. And I truly love sharing podcast lessons with you guys because I love discussing them with Meijun. I love hearing his thoughts. I love asking my friends and sharing stuff with my friends. My friends do that with me too. And I do it with students. Like, I literally love our conversations.
You love communal conversations about a topic.
Yes.
You even ask your therapist to like discuss like podcasts or books with you, right?
Yeah. I just love it. I think there's something really powerful about community, about having something in common with others, and about maybe not agreeing on things, but just having conversations. And I don't think we have enough conversations, and it's really hard for me. And I think that these are really nice prompts to get you having meaningful conversations with people. And I love that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast lesson. I hope you enjoyed like discussing it. I don't know if you have like a closing statement to finally like put like the nail in the coffin of inspiration of why you should listen to this podcast by Jay Shetty, or one thing you learned that you're taking for Meijun for the future from this.
I let me think.
No,
I don't think I have like a closing statement because I think we've
he's
touched
like,
on,
I've closed all my statements.
I think we've touched upon so many different topics that just listening to this entire thing is part of the closing statement. I feel, you know.
True.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to take away from this, and even though you're listening and like, you know, trying these things, the importance of putting it to the test and finding ways to practice your passions, your curiosities, and things that give you purpose on a day-to-day basis is how you're able to live a fuller life. What a more meaningful life really means for us is being able to exercise those things within our daily routines and at work, or you know, just being able to practice it, I think is really important. And I guess I would end with that.
I love that. Thank you for that. And I think, you know, we need to live a life that we want to live. We only get one of these ones, and we only get one body to live. We only get one life to live. So let's live how we want to live it, even if it's just like 10 minutes of the day where you get to sing or dance or cook or throw a ball or make a piece of content, whatever it is that drives you and makes you happy. Put things in action, take responsibility, and get to work, because it's a life worth living, you know.
Absolutely.
So thank you for coming, and I hope that you understood that I think we are taking and making our passions into an income.
We are on the right path for sure.
We're trying, at least. Took a leap of faith, and we're young enough, right? Okay. Thank you so much for listening, friends.
Thanks, guys.
You guys are amazing.
Bye.
Bye.